builds confidence, and you can find this amazing public speakers. And most good public speakers end up having really good careers because at the end,
बिल्कुल हर गम फिसल जाए यही दुआ है मेरी भी आपके लिए। दिस इज योर इश्की मिश्की होस्ट आरजे रॉश, यू लिसनिंग टू रेडियो जिंदगी 1550 AM GA जा। और इस वक्त तो गम का कोई वजह ही नहीं है, कोई वैलिड वजह नहीं है, बिकॉज समवन वेरी एक्साइटिंग, वेरी पॉजिटिव, वेरी आउटगोइंग एंड वेरी इंस्पायरिंग हैज जॉइंड मी टुडे इन द स्टूडियो। यू कैन ऑफ कोर्स कैच अस ऑन एयर, बट इस वक्त अगर आप फेसबुक पे जाएंगे हमारे रेडियो जिंदगी के पेज में लाइव आप देख सकते हैं one and only Mr. Kasey Shah, who has joined us. He's a professional in the tech industry who balances a very busy and accomplished career with a passion for golf and the high-speed world of Formula One. Wow, I don't know if you watched the movie F1 last year. I was completely blown away by it. But Kasey ji, you're a proud father of 3 daughters while immersing yourself in technology careers. And what we know of you is that you have joined Toastmasters a year and a half ago. And since then, you have further enhanced your communication skills, your views on presentations. And these have become vital opportunities for learning and growth for you. You continue to inspire everybody around you. And the commitment to the process has significantly boosted to your confidence both on stage and off stage. All of that is very, very exciting, and of course makes us very, very curious to know more about your journey with Toastmasters. So welcome to our show, Mr. Kasey. How are you doing today?
thank you very much for hosting me. Really appreciate it. That was an amazing introduction. Thank you.
We couldn't be more excited to have you join us and speak to your Toastmasters journey. So, how did it all start, Mr. Shah? If you don't mind going through it, like what sparked the interest in Toastmasters? How did you get started?
Yeah, so I joined Toastmaster not too long ago. I joined in October 2024. It's only a year and a half ago. I wish I had joined 20, 25 years ago. Would have been much better. But yes, what sparked it, I always had known of Toastmasters, as most people mistake is like something about drinks and things. And at some point I knew that it's not about drinks, it's about public speaking. It's an interesting thing happened at work. I do speak frequently as a part of my job, part of work. I have given keynote speeches in for 400 or 500 people audience and things like that.
Mhm.
However, it's always a lot of preparation that goes into the speeches, and I wanted to reduce that anxiety of getting into, bigger speeches and feel more comfortable with it. So one time there was this meeting going on at work, and my partner decided that we can just do impromptu speech in this. Folks are here from a company, and we were not scheduled to speak. And he's really good public speaker, and I'm like, okay, we'll try. And I fumbled in impromptu speaking that time, and I was not feeling happy about how I performed. Like I said, I've given speeches, but it's always have a lot of preparation that goes on. So then from that evening onwards, I'm like, I gotta go do some proper training and find an institution who will help me, go through this framework and make me better at impromptu speaking. So
Mhm.
from that day, I searched, and of course, Toastmaster came up in the searches, and then one thing led to another, and I visited some clubs, and that's how I got into it.
Awesome. So you mentioned you did do quite a bit of public speaking even before joining Toastmasters, but I think what I'm hearing is the difference was preparation versus, if you're thrown a topic and thrown into a room of people you don't recognize, how do you take it from there? So that is a thing that would scare most people, I would think. I'm speaking to you right now. I've had some training in impromptu speaking as part of radio, but I still get nervous, and I think it's only human to do so. What would you say? Like, who would you say rather Toastmasters is for? Is it for experienced speakers such as yourself? It's for inexperienced people, native English speakers, perhaps. What about non-native speakers? Because that makes a huge difference also, both how we're speaking and how our accent and dialect are being received. So what are your thoughts on that?
At the risk of sounding it cliche, I would say Toastmaster is for everyone. I'll tell you why. Inexperienced speakers, for sure, we would all benefit because the Toastmaster, not only the public speaking side that you practice, there is a lot of training behind it. So you go through some very formal curriculum designed by really good public speakers. So if you are inexperienced in speaking, you learn through theory and then you apply it continuously, pretty much every week if you want to. So inexperienced for sure. Experienced speakers will also benefit because you always have better speakers out there. You will always look up to someone, no matter what club you go to. Look at Toastmasters who won the championship every year, right? Those are really good Toastmasters. They come from all over the world. So there's always room for growth for experienced speakers. Native speakers, of course, they don't have the barrier of English. However, it's not just about the language. Public speaking is more about being confident, being persuasive, and all those other things. Non-native speakers will definitely benefit because when English is not your strength, and if you have to speak in English, there is natural anxiety. There's a public speaking anxiety, and now there's language anxiety. So if you learn the framework that Toastmaster provides for non-native speakers, it would be amazing. And I think kids even should start early. They should have Toastmasters in the elementary school because it builds confidence and you can find this amazing public speakers. And most good public speakers end up having really good careers because at the end of the day, it's not about what you know, it's about how you communicate what you know and how you make others better. So it's for everyone.
Absolutely. So in your case, of course, it was career related or at least born out of a, career situation. What would you say is the composition of, your class or your batch that you attended or even like a rough percentage overall, like are people who are benefiting from Toastmasters, largely from, the tech sector, business sector, corporate rather, or is it, or do you see like a balance between, career focused people and people who are just trying to just improve their public speaking skills in general?
Yeah, good question. What I have seen, I'm part of two Toastmasters club. I wanted to accelerate my journey, so I joined two right away. One club is really big, like we have 15 members, and I have seen uh, Toastmasters coming from different backgrounds, a lot of them from tech, from some teachers, all sorts of experiences, some business owners. So I have seen a variety of learners in Toastmasters. The other Toastmaster clubs, more experienced speakers, etc. They all benefit from it. I don't think it is related to like concentrated in tech. Even in the Bay Area, I've seen
Hmm.
and they all have different experiences when they come to Toastmasters. And those who jump into it, they lean on others, they find their mentors, they learn very, very quickly. When I've seen their journey accelerating, and Toastmasters is such a lovely supporting environment that no matter what you say, everybody's gonna clap at the end and they are there to support you. I've heard of so many great stories, great speakers. I mean, some YouTubers, they were like, I was about to leave Toastmaster and someone there just gave me confidence to hang in there, and then their life completely changed. So I've seen all sorts of backgrounds, and most of the time, end goal is somewhat career related. However, what ends up happening is you improve in your regular day-to-day life as well. Like your social interaction goes up because you now learned framework on how to communicate and you keep applying it. So it has similar effect as, someone playing sports. They just become overall positive and they can sports has so many widespread impacts. Similarly,
Yeah.
public speaking, I found.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us today, Mr. Shah. As we wrap up, I do want to touch upon the basics a little bit for the benefit of our listeners and audience. So, where does Toastmaster group like you said, your batch or your club meet? Is it like remote usually, or in person, or hybrid? And then if someone's interested, what would be the next step for them? Could you
Yes,
throw some light on that?
great
Yeah.
questions. There are nearly 200 Toastmaster clubs just in the Bay Area alone, thousands across the world. Some are remote, some meet in person, and some are hybrid. So there is a club for everyone, whether you want to meet in person or remotely. Where you should start, I would start at tmradio.info. You can see it on the background that I have here on the Zoom. tmradio.info has a lot of great information that you should always start there.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And if I may just add to it, in the world of AI, where we are kind of taking AI, ChatGPT help for everything, at least I am, and I'm unabashedly admitting that it becomes even harder to think of words to come to you naturally, because it's at your fingertips. But what if you're in an area where you don't have Wi-Fi, and you're on a stage where you're suddenly asked to speak? You can't go and ChatGPT that at that time. So I think in this age and time, it's even more important for something
So
like Toastmasters to exist.
So true. There's a grammarian role in Toastmaster where
Yeah,
you're supposed to use, good English and some new
yeah,
words and things like that. So
yeah.
great point.
Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Shah. It was lovely hearing about your journey, and may your journey with Toastmasters continue from strength to strength. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you for
Thank
hosting
you.
me. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.